let's go down to it because I know this is going to be uploaded before 3 o'clock. And just wanted to get my little 2 cents in because I already uploaded twice this weekend. And this is already a tough-ass weekend. Thanks. We are in week 7. We are in the middle of the season. And some primitive games have happened over the past few weeks. And I have to say my confidence for most of the teams currently in the NFL, other than the 49ers. Because we're making it to playoffs. And we lose like 6 straight or 7 straight. You just completely lose the ball. And that ain't going to start by losing to the goddamn Redskins. That we're close to losing to the Dolphins off a failed 2-point conversion when there's a few seconds left. And they have a lot more injuries than us. They do. Questionable on Everett, on DeShazor Everett, that might not play. Clemens, that might not play. Case Keenum. Josh Norman. Wes Martin. Chris Thompson, and Vernon Davis, that's been out for quite a minute. He hasn't played, I think, 3 games now. If we just play to our guts, hell, let's play like we did in Cleveland. If we did all that on defense, just completely embarrass this team and make sure that our offense speaks for ourselves, we keep using Goodwin, Pettis, Dante Pettis to more of our extent, and try to at least get some of our young guys in there, we can just cruise by the Redskins. Because that was a tank bowl they had against the Miami Dolphins last week. Nobody cared who won. Everybody cared who was going to lose so they can get the top pick. That game was terrible. That was overextent of incomplete passes. Ryan Fitzpatrick getting the game back together for the Dolphins later in the 4th. And then a fucked up second down conversion when the Redskins couldn't convert and the defense completely failed on itself. Recapping the entire game would be a waste of my breath and a waste of your time, and none of us want to get through that again. That game was shit. Josh Rosen, he was projected to go to the Chiefs in the middle of the season over the course of Pat Mahomes being injured, and I don't think they want to rely on Matt Moore that much because he was just a little bit of a temporary replacement because Chad Henne's out with an injury as well. I think because to the preseason. There's also the Miami Dolphins will face off against the 4-1 Bills. The Dolphins are still winless, and I think that winless record will continue. Imagine a team that used to go 16-0 in the 70s, the first team to do it, and then win the Super Bowl later. Face off against a team that's cruising off 4-1 after failing to renew their playoff push that they had back in 2017. Off a tremendous defense, a good mobile, dual threat, tall quarterback that can move out and throw whenever he can with a reliable running team. They're 4-1 because of these reasons, and Bills been playing pretty exceptional football. I have the Bills winning. Jaguars face off against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I have the Jaguars beating the Bengals. They are also a team that is shit. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. And Tyler Eifert barely even getting the ball. Their defense been shit. The Jags barely have any notable defenses, any injury problems. AJ Boye is a problem. I feel like he's inconsistent as all hell. I think they have a decent receiving team, and if Gardner Minshew just plays well again, they have a chance of beating Cincinnati. Lions face off against the Minnesota Vikings. Oh boy. Facing off against the worst defense in the league. And over the past couple games they've played against each other, being division rivals and such, they have lost every single game over double digits. The last time they had a game was like 2017, where it was close to a 30-23 game. And that was when the Lions were sort of in a playoff push. They're now 4-2. Lions are shit. but they've been keeping it a bit competitive. Even though Darius Slay is their best secondary, their D-line barely pushes through any offensive line, and oh god, their running game sucks. And Kerryon Johnson's just there. I bet he's gonna get traded later on to the fucking Eagles or the Cowboys or the 49ers or the Chargers or something, or the Titans. Speaking about disappointment, 5-1 Packers face off against the Raiders. And I have to say, in what's going to be partly cloudy, I feel like the Raiders have a chance. They're a better rushing team, even though Aaron Jones have been a primitive running threat from up the gut. I don't think they have that much of a good run stop for the Raiders. Passing is going to be still tough for the Raiders to stop. Anything except the blitzing isn't that bad. They're better ranked on defense than the Packers have been, but offensively and passing wise, Derek Carr doesn't have that many targets than he did a few seasons ago. That's going to play a huge factor, saying how the Packers defense has been playing for the past couple games, and how they played a half-assed game against Detroit back on primetime. And now here they are playing off against another team that should be an easy victory. Please, Aaron, play to your strengths and utilize a bit more of Aaron Jones. And that defense better stop those short route plays, because how the Raiders play, they don't have any premier targets. And seeing how they lose Vontaze Burfict, and they don't have that much of an interesting team at all, I don't see any reason why this should be a closed-minded affair other than the Detroit Lions, other than it's a team that they've known for years, and their defense and their offense is a bit used to the Packers over the past couple seasons. So obviously, facing off against a division rival will be a bit more tough than playing off against the partly competitive Raiders that's been doing well. Upsetted the Chargers. I think they also upsetted the Broncos. And facing off against Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs is going to be rough, because Josh Jacobs, he's been carrying off the football well, but he's been carrying the most, even though he has less rushing yards over the couple games he's played. So yeah, kind of going into a good 5-1 start. And jeez, season like this didn't happen since early 2010s or 90s for the Packers. That they have been a primitive start like this. Hopefully the Packers just edge one out here, because I feel like this is up for the taking for the Packers if they can shut out the Raiders at home, because they have all the momentum in the world except Davante Adams. That might just make running the football a lot more smarter, other than playing the game, overthrowing the football a lot. When you guys did have him, he went over 100 yards in the first half. And then when he got hurt, you guys thought of chucking the football for the last several plays in the fourth against the Eagles. Please don't make a mistake of this. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons and the Rams. The Rams better fucking win. The Rams better win. And I'm not. I'm more disappointed than you guys will ever be, because I had the Rams being division leader, while I had the 49ers being second best and the Seahawks going third, with the Seahawks maybe edging a wild card. God, have this been a disappointing 2-game losing streak for the Rams. Off piss poor blitzes, they signed a second string linebacker, and they got they got rid of Marcus Peters for a second string linebacker from the Ravens and also an early round pick. They traded future round picks from the Jacksonville Jaguars just for Jalen Ramsey, just so they can close out their secondary and they have a better front. But Aqib Talib is hurt. Todd Gurley's hurt. And you're facing off against a desperate team out of the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like the Rams can still etch one out here, but this might be off cruel judgment. and a bit of lack of confidence off the Rams' part. I don't want them losing 3 straight because that would be a rough momentum shift. And that would just have 49ers and Seahawks just cruising for who's going to be number 1 until like at least week 9 starts, week 10. And that's not supposed to be a good thing for the former NFC champs. So I have if the Falcons defense edge went out because Jared Goff is still good. There's still Cooper Kupp, and they still have a good tight end, and they still have like a better like rotation from when it comes to rushing the football. But defense is going to be the most proving ground note, so I have the Rams winning. Colts, Texans. Colts. This might be hard to hear, and I'm not saying this because of the people want to say it was a fluke after they beat the Chiefs. I really feel like the Colts got what it takes. After what the Texans did to the Chiefs last week, and even though the Colts aren't that well renowned for their offense, they're 23rd in the league. They're 27 in passing. And I don't think keeping them together is Marlon Mack in a disciplinary defense, while literally the Texans got them outmatched in the division and ranking wise. But you can't disagree with results. That I can't say that the Colts are literally the better pick. I think Jacoby Brissett in that advanced offensive line that is meant for Andrew Luck is doing pretty well. He's throwing out short routes over to Doyle. He's getting Hilton. He's getting Marlon Mack. They're motioning the ball well. And they're facing off against teams that normally rely on their piss-poor offensive linemen to motion out. And if they do this, you know how big of a momentum shift this could be for the Texans? Really big, and the Colts can keep it competitive for the playoffs. Because I don't think they have that many injuries up that can shift the momentum of the game. And if it does, then I might just change my opinion. Because all I'm seeing now is maybe Eric Ebron, Titus Howard, DeAndre Hopkins, Jonathan Joseph might not be good. So is Tyshawn Gibson, and only linemen are going to be out, and that's going to be rough because there's only very questionable injuries, and only Paris Campbell is out. Malik Hooker might not compete, but it's really not going to stop the secondary. Justin Houston, and you still have like a reliable defense, and I think that's the best way to stop the Texans because they have a more disciplinary defense, and they're not that reliable on the zone. They'll stick man to man, they'll cover blitz. Look what they did to Pat Mahomes. Completely etched him out, rushed him, pressured him, and kept it condensed so he doesn't get to run out and toss the football. So they still allowed him to throw like 2 touchdowns, but guess who came out the winner? And guess who got like 4 sacks? The defense. You got Jamal Shred, Justin Houston if he comes. No Malik Hooker, but George Odom, Clayton Gathers? That's how you say it? Kenny Moore, Quincy Williams, Anthony Walker, and Matthew and Zaire. So, and EJ Speed and Darius Leonard. So, I like these dudes. I feel like this is going to be a really tough, short-scoring game out of a minute because I don't think I've ever seen a low-scoring game come out of the Texans yet. So I have the Colts, 49ers, and Redskins. I want to say 49ers. And this is not off bias because I'm a fan. You guys have everybody injured on the fucking book. Josh Norman might not be coming back healthy. Everett might not be coming back healthy. Uh, fucking Case Keenum might be starting. And not your upstart rookie that sure he threw 3 picks when he was coming onto the field last time. And Vernon Davis and Chris Thompson are out. Those are like the primitive running option, best options. Yeah, we are so winning. Even though we lost a full bad, Kittle's gonna play, and we haven't lost that except Didu Samuel. That'll be tough, and a bit of Jones Stanley, and he only got a bit of a tibula. None of these guys are going to be completely out for the game, and that's going to be good because we need to keep these guys healthy for a majority of the season. And their defense isn't that bad. They don't have that many effective pass rushers, and their secondary is half-assed as fuck. So I see Jimmy Garoppolo getting like at least like 3 touchdowns or 2. Matt Brennan might get a rushing touchdown or so, and the fumbles might come, and at least like 2 forced fumbles will come out of our Alexander or either Nick Bosa, because I don't see anybody doing work on the Redskins for the Redskins at all. They were lucky. If it wasn't for that little 2-point convert, they could have just won it overtime, but they won because of the fucking idiocy that comes out of the Miami Dolphins front office team. And oh my God, Sean Taylor would be pissing on a Dolphin right now in heaven. Next up is our final 1 o'clock game scheduled on Fox, and that would be the Arizona Cardinals playing off against the New York Giants. And the only questionable thing is David Johnson is not going to be is going to be playing, and Sterling Shepard is going to be out for the game, and I think further on the few games off. This is hard to call. I'm maybe going to call Cardinals. Try to get them a game up because I feel like they have a better on paper formed team unless their secondary completely gives up. And the only thing positive coming over for the Cardinals is Patrick Peterson is going to be back on the active roster, but I don't think he's going to be playing against the Giants. It hasn't been recently reported in week 7, like Sunday's about to start in like a minute or so. And yeah, I have the Cardinals maybe winning, just coming out of a half-assed pass rushing team. They don't seem to blitz that often in their second. I feel like they can stop it from deep a few times, but we have seen the Giants on defense. It's not healthy. What are they, like 25th on defense? 24th? They're 28th on defense, while the Cardinals are in a stiff 28. But they nearly upsetted the fucking the Panthers, and their passing and rushing is off complete charts. They're currently 9th in offense, and they're crazy off the carry and breed of David Johnson. But now he's not going to be off the fray, but they have a good second string. And of course, you can't go wrong with Kyler Murray because he knows how to cruise off for first downs as easy as it is for me to get rejected off DMs. So I have the Cardinals winning at least 17-14 if it's possible. It'd be tough if you just averaged 14 points for the last 2 games, Giants, because I know you guys tried valiant effort against a kind of a shell of a Patriots team that still got shut you out, but that game shouldn't have been a tough first half for the Patriots. Next up, we have our 3 scheduled 4 o'clock games, and then we have Sunday Night Football, and then we have Monday Night Football. We have Chargers face off against the Titans, and I gotta say this. After what I just saw on Sunday Night Football, every part of optimism that I have for the Chargers have been completely knocked over. But thanks to God, they signed Cody Parkey, and the Titans don't have that many notable injuries playing on their team, and they're kind of fucking shit. Both teams are shit. It could go off to the Titans coming close, but I think they still have Melvin Gordon, and the penalties in the refs were not on the Chargers side. And I think they might lose Keenan Allen. due to injury. It's kind of a win-lose for both teams. Thinks they both have identical records, and both teams are playing kind of shit. And the Chargers have the toughest record schedule: Packers, Vikings, and Raiders that are currently like 2 games ahead of them. Like a game ahead of them. The Raiders are playing way better football. The Broncos are playing way better football than the Chargers, even though the Chargers should be the better team overall. And the Tennessee Titans. Oh, God. Other than that Mariota thing, you guys have been shitting. The most positive thing you did was to beat the overhyped Cleveland Browns that got a bye this week. So, yeah. I'm not that optimistic. Seeing from how it is, seeing on how your defense have been half-assing it, your O-line playing complete crap, and Jesus fuck, Justin Jackson, Justin Jones, Brandon Maybane's going to be out. Well, for the Titans, they only have a bit of questionable sets, and by God, what happened to your team from last year? Oh man, Joey Bosa, he's still getting them sacks, but I'm not seeing that much stuff come from the defense lately, especially from Pyramid and Thomas. It's not and Naswa. I was expecting more, and Philip Rivers just continues getting sacked and just not playing like himself, just wasting his career. It's just depressing. Just seeing a great player like Philip Rivers just completely get devastated because they got Travis Benjamin, they got Keenan Allen, wasted Antonio Gates' career. No, I did not mean that. And Derek Watt, that's good at etching out some yards, but by God, this is kind of tough. I feel like you guys could beat the Titans. I'm not saying that it's not impossible. And the Titans are a weaker team. So please, I'm just begging you, just beat them by at least 15, is like by 14 or 21, and just try to like edge through because you have 2 tough NFC North teams to worry about in a couple games. Please. Saints, Bears. What the fuck I've been seeing for the last few weeks. And now Alvin Kamara is out, so etching out and trying to get through and no slip screens are going to be available, and no handouts are going to be pretty easy for the Bears to scope out. Even though Bridgewater been playing the best football I've seen since his time in Minnesota, when AD was still on the team. Without beating his kid. And oh god, hopefully there isn't that much to worry about. Because you need to stop Mitchell Trubisky, and Trubisky has been playing rough football. I think he still has I think he's one of the quarterbacks that's still not hit over under 1,500 yards already this season. And I think they're coming back from a bye, so momentum better come out of the side because the Saints have won 4 straight since Drew Brees' injury back at Los Angeles against the Rams, and they're playing well. Their rushing is getting stricter. At least Latavius Murray is going to get more minutes on the field, and he's still one of the better rushers in the league. While you guys have edged out passing completely thanks to Mitchell Trubisky's incompetence, of course your second-string quarterback sucks, and your rushing has been terrible. So please keep it together. Saints are going to maybe win. Just saying. At least it's a close field goal. Ravens Seahawks. One of the prime games to watch. Thanks to this you cut. Ooh, it's gonna be exciting. Jimmy, and you now got Marcus Peters. You got a good, exceptional receiving core. You got a good looking tight end. You got the best quarterback that the Ravens had in years. That's a dual threat. And the Seahawks been playing well after upsetting the Rams in a shocker. And then they upset the Browns last week. Off DJ's Moncrief's bullshit catches that were barely called, and their defense actually embarrassing Cleveland Browns. And this is a tough one to call. Your decision on the comment section. I want to see what you guys are gonna say about this game, because for me, I really think it's gonna be the Ravens. But in my heart of hearts, because of more experience, and maybe because their O-line hasn't been that exceptionally well done for the last few games, and the Ravens have been playing a bit half-assed, I'm going to say the Seahawks. I'm going to dig for the Seahawks winning this game. So that's my opinion. They try to keep the momentum going. So I'm going to go Seahawks. Next up, Sunday Night Football at 8:20 Eastern on NBC. We got the Eagles, that's been shit, and the Cowboys, that has been utter shit. They have the second best offense in the league. Why you can't give it to Ezekiel Elliott? Sure, Dak Prescott is throwing a shit ton, but he's also throwing a shit ton of picks. Both of these guys have tying records, and they're supposed to be fighting for division leadership right now. Come on. Just look this up right now. I'm not trying to get an aneurysm, right? I had anger issues before, and that was not healthy. Because, jeez. I feel like Dak Prescott has, completion ratings-wise has been good. Passing-wise has been average, and yardage-wise he's been doing all right. He's motioning out the ball, but after getting shitted on by the New York Jets, and sure, the Jets, you beat the Cowboys. You got your first win of the season. The Cowboys, you lost to the Jets, and that's more of a blow than the Jets winning their first game this season. And that comes off inconsistency. Your defense not running amok. Sam Darnold was passing all the way through you. Le'Veon Bell somehow got a rushing touchdown, even though how pedestrian he has been, only getting 50 carries a game. And Dak, as much as he's putting up over 1,800 yards, the dude got 8 picks, and his completion rating keeps getting on and off, only getting 20 completions when he's chugging the ball for the past 2 games for combined 80 attempts. 84 attempts over the past 2 games, and against pass-heavy teams. Come on. I haven't been seeing a lot of Ezekiel Elliott, even though he's the primitive running option, the second highest rusher. And he's the second threatening rusher. He only got 5 touchdowns this season. And he's been consistent over the past couple games, even though he got shut off against the Jets and they came back like later in the fourth, so it really didn't matter if he only got over 100 yards since week 3. And they were against the goddamn Dolphins. Yet you face off against... And I get it, they're the Packers and Saints, but you guys are losing 3 straight after starting a 3-0 game. Starting 3-0, and you beat shit. You face off against competition, and then you face off against one shit, and you lose 3 straight. Philadelphia has the same fucking issue. No pass, their slow motion offense of just play action and get through, do fake ass flea flickers, and think like it's Super Bowl, except I'm doing this with last time tearing my ACL. The only offensive threat is Zach Ertz, and our defense hasn't been good since some dude with green hair was on our team. Oh, but we the underdogs in this bitch. You guys sure are the underdogs. Ronald Darby hasn't been much. Rodney McLeod hasn't been much. Rasul Douglas hasn't been much. Malcolm Jenkins and Roby Ford has been getting mossed for a majority of the season. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham been doing their job, and so has Nigel Bradham. That's pretty much it when it comes to actually being efficient on defense. On offense, you guys are a complete joke. Nelson Aguilar continues to drop footballs. Deshaun Jackson, I haven't seen a good game from him since week 1. And he went over 100 yards. He only played one game. Now he's gone. Your leading receiver off yardage only got like one game. Now he's gone. And JJ has been shit. Alshon Jeffrey been dropping deep balls. Your offensive line has been crap. And the only thing keeping it together was short routes and rushing plays off goddamn. Oh, God. Carson Wentz that's been having a good season. And losing Jay Ajayi, Darren Sproul's been dropping short catches, and Jordan Howard hasn't been that great. And you asshats still lose 3 straight. Just like the Cowboys have. No, wait, no, you haven't lost 3 straight. You guys just been the most inconsistent team in your division. Just after starting 2-1-2, losing to the Lions and the Falcons, both teams that are meant to be rebuilding, and then beating the Packers, then the Jets, and then you guys fall victim to the fucking Vikings that was supposed to be weak after having a tough start? I don't know when the torture is gonna end, and somehow you guys are 3-3. Well, good start for the Jets. You guys won 2 of your last 3. That's perfect. I guess. I think the Eagles could win this if it's possible. Because I think Dak is just going to chuck up the football and just giving it to Ezekiel whenever they have, or just do split screens. It's just going to be the battle of overly predictable offenses since 2016. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun to be seeing this game of the same teams that play like overly exposed offense and a defense that doesn't speak for themselves? You know, the Cowboys have a way better defense than the Eagles. The only thing keeping them half-assed is their pass rushing. Even though the Eagles have the better pass rushing team. This is also a bit harder to call, I guess, but I have the Eagles, please win. Please win, Eagles. Just try to keep it together. While the Cowboys don't lose 4 straight if they lose. But the passing has been a complete wreck. And the Eagles have a must-win for the division right now. So, yeah, this is kind of... I don't know. Gotta go for the Eagles. Winning by at least 7. Or 10. Next up, we got Monday Night Football. And that will be... that will be the New York Jets playing off against the New England Patriots on October 21st. So, you got Darnold back, and I heard you guys also signed Anthony Barr. What the fuck is that supposed to do? Your pass rushing is already a mistake, but if you guys can slow down a bit of Tom Brady or Sony Michel, that will make a complete difference in certain aspects. Small little small something. I don't know how to say this with a lot of optimism. This just seems like another pimp slap, but the Jets are just going to look weak. And then they come postseason, the Jets play like they always do, dominant. So yeah, I thought that the Giants might beat the Patriots. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I clinically need help. I actually thought the Patriots were going to lose to the Giants. Now here they are playing against their division child, not division rival. Division child, because you pimp slap the shit out of it, and it runs away as soon as it cries to the Bills, that are way better. They have more of a playoff history than the Jets will ever have in the last decade. So, yeah. This is kind of depressing. Patriots win by 21. And if I want to play it safe, win by 14. And that's most of my picks for week 7. Hopefully you guys liked my take. I obviously did not. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, join the DST Show. Like, comment, and share the video. Bars. Thanks for watching.